What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the FTI podcast. I am your host, Kyle. We are also joined with Dan and Chris, our other hosts. We're all co-hosts here. And joining us this week to continue our habit of having 410 sprint car drivers on, we have Zane Davault on today. So welcome, Zane. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was always looking forward to being on here when Dan asked me to be on here a while ago. The timing really wasn't right, but timing's right now, I think, to be able to kind of tell what's going on this year.
It always makes me feel good when people say that they were wanting to come on, and I'm like, you were? people watch this, people want to come on here. It always surprised it always just seems still like it's just, it's just us buddies talking. Yeah. And then I forget, like, oh, okay, people actually watch this sometimes.
It's our weekly FaceTime call.
Yeah, it's just
yeah, it makes it easier when it goes that smoothly. Anyway, could be worse. Could look like a View episode or something. But yeah, I'll just jump right into it. I'll just kind of jump right into it, get going with Zane here. So Zane and I have been buddies for a while, met through our buddy Stanball, and, kind of basically been friends ever since. We raced each other, never knew each other really, and, been buddies ever since. And he's always been a good dude to me. So last year, we raced a lot of 360 stuff and 410 stuff. You had, what did we say? We did five wins on the 360?
Yeah.
And that was in the 6 car then?
4 of them were, and then one. And
4 of them were?
Yep.
What was the biggest win you would say out of those 5 wins you had last year?
I don't know. I think probably the Deep South one was a pretty big win. I feel like that was pretty cool because never being there to race. I've been there to watch one time. We started up front and ran away with it, but man, it was a marathon. It was such a long red that the fog was coming in and everything. So they about canceled, but we got it going again. And then the next night, I think it started mid pack and had a chance of winning it again, and was battling back and forth with Sammy Swindell. So that was pretty cool. So I think one of the other big ones was probably the at Riverside with the flip flop 50. That was pretty cool. That was another marathon. Heck, I think it took us. I think we had an open red, and we didn't even hit 6 laps. So that was crazy. I think
been there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, and that's kind of one thing too. Like I said, I've known you for a couple of years, and I've seen you around when I first started local stuff. But it seems like the last, I'd say probably 2 years, you've really kind of getting your racing career. I'd say where you've always kind of wanted it to be. Yeah,
really coming from no money and no background in sprint car racing, it was kind of hard. You got to kind of pave your own path and get through the ranks. And you got to take the hits when they come. I went to Butler and raced a lot because that's all we could afford to do back when I was younger. I started racing sprint cars when I was a young age, so it was tough, but it's definitely worked out for the better, I'd say.
And then was the sprint car the first thing you ever started racing, or did you race karts or anything before that?
No, so I raced quarter midgets when I was 5, I think, when I started racing quarter midgets at Kokomo, Indiana, and then we raced some mini Indy, and then I ran mini sprints for a year, sat out for a year, and then got in a sprint car.
Now, has that always been like a family thing for you, or how's all that been? Has it been mostly kind of a you and some buddies thing, or?
No, it was usually just a family deal. My dad was definitely the biggest push behind it all. And like I said, it wasn't like we went out in the first year running a sprint car. We ran 40, 50 shows like all these kids nowadays do. I think we ran like 8 shows the first year. So it was definitely shoestring budget, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then how's that kind of transition last year? I know you said you've got what was his name there? You got Hunter, right?
Yep.
Got Hunter. He's been helping you. How's that kind of been with you? Kind of being more on the road and doing I'd say quite a bit more racing. Has your dad been able to help as much with that, or just with all the traveling? Has it been just a lot with you and Hunter?
It's been a lot with me and Hunter, and it's a pretty cool deal. You know, like we were little kids at Kokomo Speedway on Sundays, watching everyone race when we were all in the stands, and we were always like, oh man, it'd be so cool one day me and you would be on a team together and do everything that they're doing. So I called him up last year. I had an opportunity to hire him and have him go on the road with me in March, and it worked out. And then we ended up leaving that deal and going to another ride halfway through the season. And I was fortunate enough to have him come along with that one also. So there was a long period of time where it was me and him on the road, and that's it. Show up to the races, and everyone's like, "Oh, where's your crew?" And it's like me and him. That's us. So we definitely learned a lot and had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always cool to see too when you get to work with kind of your buddies more than just sometimes it feels like a crew guy or almost like a work setting, but it's always nice to be able to relax and get down to business with somebody that's close to you and a good friend. I saw you post the other day. You guys were washing the cars in the snow after. Was that after Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Yep.
How did Pittsburgh go? I saw a couple Snapchats and a couple pictures, and I saw a little bit on the cushion.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's the same racetrack for everyone. I think the promoter took a chance of trying to do the St. Patty's Day bash and get a lot of fans in the stands. So I think all in all, he had a lot of late models, a lot of sprint cars. I think that they said that's the most sprint cars they've had since the 80s. So that was pretty cool. It kind of sucked. It took rubber really early. But it's kind of expected when you have a day race. You look at some of even the Pennsylvania tracks, when they have a day race, it's kind of expected, so it,
especially this early in the year too, it's not like a lot of weather or a lot of,
and it's a new owner. So it is what it is. I mean, I think a lot of people are upset. We went through a lot of tires, that's for sure. But we're not the ones that just throw brand new tires on every time. That's one cool thing with Brett. He came from no money also and kind of built it up from a shoestring budget. So I had a bunch of used tires that I had in the barn, and that's what we ran. So I think we only ran like one new tire. So it was a good night. Ended up with a top 10, started 9th, fell back to 10th or 11th at some point, and ended up making a few late race moves to end up back up into 7th. So, yeah.
Now, how was Charlotte last year? We kind of talked about this before we came on today, but how was that?
It was pretty cool. At that point in time, I don't know if me and Hunter were really ready to go there, but we did. So we struggled. I think the one good thing about that whole week was we went to Cherokee the night before we went to Charlotte, and had a good run. Me and Hunter ran there a couple times earlier that year. So we did pretty good. I felt like we held our own up against some of the big teams, and it was just me and Hunter. So that was pretty cool. But then we got to Charlotte and we struggled. We were definitely behind the 8 ball on that one. Just knowledge. I think that, the way the format was last year with that whole deal, you had to qualify really good. and we kind of struggled on that. So it got us way back to where it's hard to dig yourself out of a hole against those guys. There's so many good cars there. So it was all right.
And
but
you don't have a lot of experience on the big half miles, do you?
No, I don't. So really, I guess the only one would be Hartford back in the day, before they shortened it. But other than that, that's pretty much about it.
And one thing a lot of people always ask, or we kind of always talk about and gravitate to, but you're a little farther out of our area than normal. What do you plan on racing in Ohio, or what did you race last year that one of your favorite tracks out here? Like, are you a Wayne County fan? Do you love the place, hate the place? I think when I first started, I grew up with, not grew up, but started racing some Attica Fremont stuff, and that's where I always seem to run into you. So what's kind of been your favorite track, or favorite Ohio track, favorite overall track? What do you have there?
Man, I don't know. I liked Attica when built a big ass curb. That was always fun. That's kind of my driving style, I feel like. But I raced Sharon quite a bit last year, and it always was pretty good to me. Some mistakes obviously were made some nights, but I think it was always fun to race Sharon. You can get up on the wheel and rip the guardrail down, or you can be like the Blaneys and just kind of cruise if you get your car right, and cruise around in the middle or the bottom, and you can still make it work. And then there's some nights there also where they get it. It's pretty racy, where it's sticky, but it's not really heavy. So I don't know. I think I've been to Wayne County 3 or 4 times and been rained out 3 or 4 times and never made it on the track. So I'm pretty excited about that one. We've got a couple races on the schedule this year to go there. We're definitely focusing on running for the points for the fast deal, and then
Better have that left rear end tight when you get there, bud.
Yeah, so we're gonna run the fast, and then depending on some sponsors and everything, depending on how we're doing on money and everything, try and run some other races.
So it was just recently, it looks like about 4 days ago, you officially announced that you were going to be racing for Lane Racing this year. How did that come about? And, how excited are you to be part of this team?
So it was a couple months ago, me and Brett, I shouldn't say we started talking. Me and Brett are really close. And we've talked probably, and it's been 3 or 4 years ago. I ran the Jim Ford. They had 3 cars for that weekend, and I ran one of the cars for him, and we've always stayed in really good contact. So obviously with Chris leaving, me and Brett were always talking. Didn't really know where my season was going to go at the end of the season, if I was going to commit to the 6 car or not. And so we talked more and more about kind of what our seasons looked like for 2024. And we kind of made a deal. It wasn't really a lot of races at the beginning, just kind of hit and miss races. And then we started really getting traction. I think between me and Brett talking about races we wanted to race, and then obviously the whole thing with the All-Stars happened. So we've been really close, and we've obviously, I ran 2 years ago for him at Atomic and had some success. And we had fun doing it too. I think that's one thing that's cool about me and Brett is we're super close. And I think it's more like a family racing atmosphere here. So it's pretty cool to be able to be back in that relaxed state of, it's more like, we do it for a living, but we're relaxed, I guess. Like it's so much, it's like a family function, I guess is what you want to say.
feels more like home, you know.
Yeah.
And then going into getting that ride this year. So what? I know you kind of said it when we talked about PPMS, but what's kind of your plan this year? Are you trying to dedicate completely to a series, or are you just kind of pick and go, or how have you guys kind of figured that out for the year? Or do you not really know yet?
Yeah, we definitely committed to the fast deal to run for the points in that, and then it all depends. I mean, we're looking for some more partnerships to kind of help the program further along, and depending on how some of the partnerships fall, run some more races and everything. I know we were talking about kind of doing the Western PA Speed Week, and hitting some of the Maverick deals in Indiana. So we're kind of playing that by ear, but we're hoping to hit a lot more than just the faster series races.
You're muted, Kyle.
No, so we got some comments in here. No questions yet, guys. If you have any questions for Zane, put them in the chat on whatever platform you're watching. But Big D's Pizza says, good luck this season. So glad to see you and Brett team up this year. And they also said, I'm sure Brett will be more relaxed this year for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. We were talking the other day. It was pretty funny at Pittsburgh. He's like, man, that's the most relaxed I've been in a long time since I've been a car owner. So he's always on the edge, that's for sure. But he definitely is laser focused. And like I said, we're all really close. Me, him, and Hunter, and Patty, and Casey, and his dad Jim. So it makes it a lot easier, to be laser focused. And we've got a job to do when we get there, and that's definitely to compete for a win.
So TJ Michaels says, hey Zane, big fan. When are you gonna come over and have a drink with me? Some beers.
Yeah. We were actually at Pittsburgh, and they were all up there complaining, and me and TJ were standing there laughing. And I said, hey man, I'm living in Fremont now. And he's like, oh yeah, I need to get your number. So he's got my number. He can text me maybe tonight. We'll see what we're doing after the interview. I've got some work to do. Got to be careful. Brett's probably on here watching, Brett and Patty and Casey. So we can't be skipping out of work too early. But yeah, we'll definitely get some beers here soon.
I saw I won't name names, but there was one driver who posted on Facebook that they ended up leaving because of the visibility this past weekend. From the pictures and everything that I've seen, it was pretty dusty. I don't know. I saw some pictures. We mentioned Charlotte earlier, and it seemed like there was a lot of dust, at least in the corners. There was that one picture of all the haulers, just they weren't silver on top anymore. It was just red. But it seemed like it was like the Dust Bowl over there in Pittsburgh.
I missed it. Who'd you say left?
He said he didn't want to
I wasn't going to name names.
Oh.
Oh, man, you're funny. So I think the mixture of it being a day race with the sun, that was, I think, the biggest problem with the dust. Obviously when it hits, it just it makes it worse. Like at night when it's just the lights obviously aren't as bright, so you can kind of see through it. But I think it was thick though. Like it wasn't just, it was like sand. It was a sandstorm. It wasn't really dust, but they did what they had to do. And they did what they could to make it race.
Yeah. If you don't race, people bitch about not racing. Us drivers are all picky. We bitch about not racing, then we bitch about the track when we get the race, so
yeah,
we've all been
I think they did do the right call. They kind of waited, it sucked. It was a long wait, but waited till the sun went down, and it ended up being a pretty decent surface to race on.
No, yeah, it looked. By the end of the day, it looked like it was like you said, everyone had the same track. It didn't seem to race bad or anything. So, they got basically one of the first ones in, and, hopefully, them under new ownership kind of takes off and works for them.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of Wayne County's issue that they came across when they did
Speed Week
what
last
was
year?
it, Speed Week? Yeah, Speed Week. You had some guy, they had a big drivers meeting about it, and everyone agreed, like, hey, if you want to race, if not, go ahead and back up. And some of them were very vocal on social media about wanting to leave, and they left. And was it the best conditions? Probably not. It looked pretty sketchy out there. I can't.
We got some cool pictures though.
Yeah, it was some cool pictures. I have no clue how it raced because I don't race 410 sprints, but it didn't look like it was the most comfortable thing to race. But as track promoters go, you have to make a decision. You have to, at the bottom, when it comes down to it, you have to make $1. And not that I'm saying that's a bad thing. It's you have to make a decision, and if the drivers are okay with it, then it is what it is. Race it or don't race it.
Yeah. No, and Dan, were you at that race?
Now you're muted, Dan.
Now you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the race we kind of like not met Dan, but like he discovered us.
Yeah, talked a lot more. Yeah, that I was there. I mean, I was
Were
I was
you
ready to
driving?
go. Yeah, it was wild. I was on the right front, right rear, left front. It didn't matter. We're on it was 2 or 3 at a time, but it was fun for me because it kind of leveled the playing field out for me a lot, because it didn't so much matter about the car and whatnot. It was probably my most competitive race I've had there with a bigger series. It was pretty gnarly. I think for the local guys, it was a little bit easier to grasp just because we kind of knew what got rough in the first place. But it was a wild track. It definitely took some maneuvering and some drivability to get through it.
I could only imagine what you were saying in the helmet, because once you get rolling, you're pretty funny.
I can almost guarantee you I was out of breath and like purple knuckles and just trying to keep my eyes open to see what was coming next. It was cool. It was fun. I'm glad I stayed and raced it. If I would have junked it, I probably would have said otherwise, but I haven't got bit on a rough track yet, so
that's good.
So we got another comment here. When did you drive your first sprint car? Jeffrey Nickerson asks.
So I was 13 years old. We ended up, it was at Plymouth Speedway when they first went dirt. That was with Sod, I believe. Yeah, it was my dad's car, and I was 13 years old, like a couple days right before my 14th birthday.
Cool. He also wants to know where's that here? What track do you hate to run at and why? Not that we want to throw any tracks under the bus. Everyone has their favorites. Everyone has their least favorites.
That's a tough one. Like I feel like it depends on.
Say something way south.
Something way south.
Yeah, something Georgia, Alabama. Say something.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's I think last year, the one that I probably hated the most.
Please just don't say Eldora, because I'm already in hot water with Eldora, and I don't need. Just don't say Eldora.
No, I'd probably say the worst one on my mind right now is probably Charlotte, just because I'm still upset at myself that I felt like I couldn't get around there as good as I thought I could. But I still think, I don't know, overall, that's tough. I don't know. I've struggled at Tri-City in Michigan. I've that one's still tough. So I don't know. I don't really hate no tracks. They've all got their little quirks, and I think it's just part of character. Whether they're slick, rough, doesn't matter. It's somewhere to race. Like me and Dan were talking earlier. Racers are gonna complain and everything, and I don't know, say what they want, but somewhere to race. And nowadays there's a lot of tracks leaving instead of coming back. So I think you got to be careful on saying what track you hate and what you don't.
I don't know. I think you kind of mentioned it earlier. It's Wayne County. You've been there 4 times and haven't got to race it. So.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm excited to race there. I feel like that's really my driving style. And I just want to go because Dan's always there. So then we can race together again.
I'm ready.
So Bryce Lane wants to know, where can you get a shirt like that?
Well, I don't know. So
Lane Racing also wants to know.
So actually, you can ask Brett Lane, because this shirt is actually a little big on me. We were supposed to get a medium, and I think we ended up getting XLs. But yeah, we got a few shirts together because he was actually upset because I have an old TSR sweatshirt, and he's like, I'm tired of looking at you wear that. I've got a couple of them. So yeah, he got me a long sleeve t-shirt and a sweatshirt that were the wrong sizes. But I'm sure if you follow the Lane Racing page, we'll have some t-shirts and everything here soon.
So we have another comment here from Max Stambaugh. He wants to know who was the first car owner you drove for?
So I think this is somewhat of a loaded question because he knows it was Terry Bushy. He knows it's Terry Bushy. And the funny thing is I was on the phone with Max today, and him and Terry are actually going to Tennessee this weekend. So that's a cool deal. I think, me and Max, Ricky, there's a lot of the Ohio, Indiana guys that have ran that deal for Terry and Ellen. So it's a really good family. Shoestring budget, but it always seemed like we always ran good in that car, and never was able to get Terry a win. So that's one car that if I could go back and do some of my races differently and everything, there's definitely a couple nights in that car that I would change how I did things, definitely, to get him a first win. But yeah, Max Davault definitely hooked me up with that ride. I was looking for a ride, and he told me I should give Terry Bushy a call, and actually persuaded Terry to let me race his stuff.
So Max also wants to know if you know how to clean some gutters.
Yeah, yeah, I do. But I think him and Dan are professionals at it. I stayed in the house that night. It was pouring. It was pouring.
Got to
went out
invest
there
in
to
that
fix
leaf
it.
guard.
Kind of like a gutter guard.
Yeah. I stayed in the house, and him and Max went out there, and they were fixing it in the rain.
So Robert Retzler, wants to know what groove do you like to run on the track? Are you like Larson? You want to go as high as you can go, or you like the middle? You like the bottom?
What offset right rears you got on?
I knew you were going to say something on that. So back when I was younger, I never really had a big motor. We were always undermotored, so I always was a bottom feeder. And then I don't know what changed. I'm like the Jack Hodenshield line, like just beat the fence down now. So I don't know. There's some nights where I like it, where it's slick and slow, and you can kind of cruise the bottom. I'm sure Brett's going to comment on this one. The 2 races I ran for him last year ran the bottom, and I got yelled at. And then the next night I just absolutely tried to rip the fence down and destroy the rear end and everything. But I won. But yeah, he got the best of both worlds that in 2 weekends from me.
We have another comment here from Lance Heinberger. Do you think the competition in the Fast Series will be equivalent to the All-Stars now that High Limit has taken over and went national?
I think that's a really good question. I think, man, I don't know.
He's a local sprint car racer, Zane. He's from he's out by me. He's on his second year. He's got about 5 races under his belt, so he knows a little bit too. He's probably kind of curious what your opinion is on it, though, for sure.
So I would say, we were kind of talking about this on the way, the team and everything back from Pittsburgh. I would say the people that you saw at Pittsburgh are probably going to be at the majority of the fast races. You look at Brandon Mattis, Spithaler, you've got Schaefer. You've got a lot of good guys that, all those guys used to be on the Outlaw or on the All-Stars back in the day. Blaney, you can never count him out. So I don't know. I think you're going to see the McCandless car quite a bit. Also, so I don't know. I think it's still going to be pretty tough competition week in, week out. And it depends on where you go. You're going to have the locals to compete with also. So I don't know. Obviously I don't think you're going to have your Tyler Courtneys and Justin Pecks, but I think the Fast Series can definitely work up to that level in years to come.
Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah.
Really good.
So we kind of talked about before too. So what's your whole opinion on the the High Limit, World of Outlaw, kind of thinking how it's worked out so far and kind of looked like it was going to work. I know we kind of asked all the sprint car drivers about it, and probably pertains a little bit more to you than some of us. So, how do you feel about that High Limit and the whole World of Outlaw thing?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I've never been able to really be a part of the All-Star Outlaw High Limit deal. As a whole to put a whole season together, let's say. But I think that's like one of those deals where it helps, I think, the bigger teams, the Rudine and Quass and Marshall. But I think it hurts the Wayne Racing, the 97 of Joe Sealing, the McCandless car, because, I feel like they were more that's their kind of budget form, and it's closer to home. You could leave probably the day of and hit any race if you're from this area. So now it's let's say, I'm not saying firm numbers, but you went from a couple $100,000 to be able to run the All-Stars to you're looking pretty close to $1 million now to be able to do the whole deal. That's a lot of hotels, a lot of traveling. So I don't know. It's tough. I think Fast has definitely got a good opportunity to take the All-Star spot and kind of do a new deal.
Yeah, and the Fast stuff, I've always liked the Fast Series. I've wanted to run it last couple years and haven't been able to after first month or so. But that Aaron's got a cool deal there, and I like it, and it's pretty cool how they and Dwayne and all them guys at Attica Fremont are kind of got that Speed Week deal worked out. Do you plan on running? How much of that do you plan on running? The whole thing?
Yeah, we'll run the whole deal. Yep. Because I'm pretty sure that's part of the points also. So
are they all points? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they're all points or special points. Have you ran the Speed Week before?
So last year I didn't run the whole Speed Week, but we ran a couple nights of it. And then obviously, I think we ran Portsmouth and we ran Atomic with them last year. So, but
Yeah,
then
that was the time I was down there with you.
Yep.
Down at
Yep.
Atomic.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of new tracks on that list in general. Out of that Ohio Speed Week, what one of the new tracks are you looking forward to visiting most?
Man, I don't know. I can't pull away from Wayne County. I'm super excited about that. I've always wanted to go there. Actually, Brett's always tried pushing me to go there. Because he kind of was the one that he's like, dude, that's your driving style. That's where you need to go. So, I guess I think Hilltop, we were kind of talking about that the other night. I think that'd be a cool one to go to. I don't know. There's quite a few new ones on there that I've never went to, but I've always felt like on a track that I've never went to, I've always done pretty decent at on the being the first night there and everything. And maybe it's because I don't overthink it and just kind of have a basic setup and just go out there and wheel it. But yeah, so I think Wayne County would probably still be my one that during Speed Week that I'm excited to go to.
We're just a few weeks out, so I mean, hopefully it's sooner than later because I'm dying to get out.
Yeah,
I
I think it's the 23rd. Are we at Wayne County? I believe with Fast. It's somewhere around there.
I think it's the 13th.
That's right.
Oh.
It is the 13th. Is it? Or no, the 13th at Atomic. The 13th at Atomic. Pretty sure.
I got April. Oh no, that's Fremont. Yeah, I have the 13th on mine for the fast schedule.
Okay.
I'll look it up real quick.
All right. Me and Max were just talking about that. He wanted me to do what?
I know I can't wait to get to a racetrack.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
I think I was pretty excited to go race Pittsburgh last weekend, and Brett was definitely, he was a little nervous. Obviously, new team and everything, first race out, but I was on both sides of the fence. He was definitely hoping we'd have one more weekend to get everything ready. But I was happy to be back at the racetrack.
So besides the Fast Series, are you planning on running any of the the World of Outlaw races or the high limit races that are at I know they're going to be at Wayne County, Sharon, Attica, Fremont, Atomic, and all that as far as World of Outlaws goes. Plans on running any of those this year?
Yeah, there's talk of like when they go to Atomic for the 2-day deal. We've got that on the schedule as but then at the same time we could race Attica Fremont that weekend. So, and then they go to Fremont on that Tuesday. So I know we'll be at that one for sure. The Outlaws are at Fremont on Tuesday, so we'll be there. And then after that, we'll be going out to Western PA Speed Week. So I know there's quite a few. I think we're going to go to Kokomo with a high limit because that's like in my backyard. So definitely looking forward to that one. I've always liked racing at Kokomo, wing or non-wing. I feel like it puts on good sprint car racing. So yeah, there's a few of them. But like I said, a lot of them, I think we're just mainly focused on the fast deal right now.
Yeah, Wayne County is the 13th of April.
Good deal. All right.
One thing I was going to ask real quick before we know that you shout out some people, wrap some stuff up, and talk about our Bristol debacle a little bit. But what do you, since you were kind of the Attica Fremont stuff a while and been racing a little bit, what do you make of that 3-inch wicker bill?
Man, I don't know. That's a rough subject in this shop. There's a lot of debate. I don't know.
Let's talk about it.
I feel like it can hurt you, but it can help you. Some of some of the big races when they come in, the high limit and outlaw races, I feel like that's when you need to be on point. And let's say you use that 2 or a 3-inch now as a crutch. You're taking that away now. So when they come into town, so it's kind of, I don't know. Depends. Like on a big racetrack, it might make pretty big difference. But I don't know. I've never really got wrapped up in that stuff. If they take that away, that's fine. We'll figure out another way to tighten the race car up or get it better when you roll the wing back. So I think it's challenging because we've obviously always been used to the 2-inch deal. But obviously the outlaws and the high limits have adapted well to it. So I don't know why we can't either. But the 3-inch deal, I know a lot of people are excited about it because that's one more adjustment. It's quick. It's 4 Zeus buttons, right? So, but I don't know. I would still like to not boycott it, but I would like to definitely win a race at Attica or Fremont with a 1-inch wicker bill. Just to be that one odd off person, say that not necessarily that I'm against it, but I think there's a lot of guys that are going to use it, but there's going to be a lot of guys that probably won't either, so I don't know.
Going to be very interesting this year on all of this wicker bill stuff of everyone having their own rules.
Yeah, I know. I think you got the PA posse now. They just went to the 1-inch deal. So, man, you've got your 3 main sources of major sprint car racing going to the 1-inch wicker. So I think it'll be interesting. That's for sure.
But yeah, you want to give some shout outs and then we'll go into the Bristol stuff that we kind of teased beforehand.
Yeah.
Sure. Do some shout outs and then Kyle, can you link the lane racing thing on there too?
Yes.
Just for anything, sponsors to reach out if they want to get a hold of him or whatever.
I think it's pretty cool. Deschel Lanes have been a big supporter of lane racings for a while. Pro Auto Wraps always help them out, and Premier Planning has been on their car for quite a while too, and Cindy with Elliott's custom trailers and golf carts they've been supportive on the lane racing for a couple years now too. So it's we're definitely still seeking more partnerships. That's for sure. Never satisfied with what we got. And I think we're definitely one of the teams that are pretty good at, giving back to the community. The lanes have always put back into the racing and have always promoted everyone pretty well, I think. So I don't know. Yeah, I gotta thank all those people for staying on board, and it's a new driver and everything. So I know some people don't know my face, don't know my name, never really talk to me, but I definitely appreciate all the people that kept the lane racing going up and down the road for the last couple of years.
Nice. So
and it's cool to see a local guy in it too. After Cap was out, it seemed like it was going to be bigger, and no bash towards them, but it's cool to see another local guy be in there and getting able to get this chance to rip it around.
Yeah, for sure, and be able to race with you and Max. That'll be fun. I think that'll be pretty cool.
So we will go into some NASCAR content now. Move it over to Well, last year it was dirt. This year it wasn't. And it seems like Goodyear might have got it wrong this year.
No,
you know,
Goodyear got it right. Goodyear got it right.
So I watched an interview that whoever the spokesperson for Goodyear was there, and he was talking about how they they had done testing last fall, and he was complaining kind of about how they put something down.
They put resin instead of PJ1.
Yeah, because apparently they're trying to move away from PJ1.
Yeah.
And then that caused the track to be a lot more sticky and caused for a lot more tire wear, which I've seen some of the pictures, and that's
the marbles
insane.
in the corner is the confetti of marbles.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah,
sick.
I don't think Sebring had that many marbles on it, and it was a 12-hour race.
I think fans have been complaining about the short track it. I can't
Package.
talk today. The short
The
track
what?
package. And
Drink another one.
I've been drinking water and Sprite tonight.
I know you haven't had anything.
I gotta go get dinner afterwards. I didn't cook dinner tonight. But
What I
fans,
know we can't talk about. Go ahead, Chris.
fans have been
He's gonna get
complaining
Taco
about
Bell.
the short track package, and we've been wanting tire wear. The tires shouldn't last 200 laps. There was if you listen to DBC this week, they were talking about the tires that they raced, the left fronts at one of the tracks this year. They could estimate 3,000 miles on the tire, the left front. And this week they're getting 30 laps around a half mile, and they're blowing out. Now, it was a little ridiculous, but they bring this tire back in the fall where the teams are able to adjust for it. We could actually have a good short track package for, one of the crown jewels, the Bristol Night Race. So I say bring it back in the fall. Give the engineers, 6 months to dial it in, and it'll be a good race in the fall.
I think it was pretty cool, what Kyle Larson said. He posted one of the videos where he was just ripping back through the field, and the guy said that it's Dirt to Daytona back in the day when you went from expert veteran level to the rookie. That's kind of how it was. I thought that was a pretty good comment.
It is funny. He complained about it on Sunday and then had to come back and kind of change his thoughts on it. And you had all the drivers saying it was fun. It was just nerve-wracking, losing your tires after 30 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't Bristol not really a big pit stop race anyway?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm really glad I finished this water bottle.
I feel like it's Bristol, Bristol, baby. Like, who cares? I mean, it is what it is. It's usually chaos anyways, so let's just make it even worse with the tires.
Halfway through the race, I was starting to feel like it was going to be like a 2008 Indy or the 05 Indy Grand Prix, where it's like, oh, they're going to have to red flag this or, shorten the distance. And then, you made the drivers be professional drivers and figure it out. So, yeah, I mean, make it difficult on them. That's why they get paid the big bucks. Make it difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if there were some fans in the stands to see it. I'm just kidding.
I was just going to say, Bristol does fit like 150,000. Or no,
it's like one of the highest capacities of like all the racetracks.
It's a literal half-mile track surrounded by seats.
Dan, what's your comment on this? I want to hear this. This will be really good.
I mean, for me, kind of like we said earlier, everyone gets the same track. Basically, everyone's on the same tires. I mean, I get the racers want a bitch, but at the end of the day, after it was all said and done, none of them were really saying anything now. I watched the highlights. It did make for more of I think the more risky and more sketchy it is for NASCAR like that, especially on those smaller tracks, you know, would get hurt. But the little bit of more inherent risk and stuff, I think, makes it better for some people as a fan trying to watch NASCAR. You know, you don't want guys, you know, really getting hurt or being extra hurt, but I don't mind it. I think that it's.
I mean, you can say it. You can say it. The wrecks get more views.
Oh, yeah, seriously, yeah, they always do. And, you know, for NASCAR, they don't seem to have near as much as that, but it was a little better to see some more, more banging wheels than, you know, normal.
Here's a question for you guys. You're both sprint car guys. Do you think Kyle Larson actually cares about NASCAR? Or do you think he's doing it for the paycheck and notoriety right now, and his true love is for dirt racing?
If sprint cars paid the same as NASCAR, I'd be in a sprint car.
I
think NASCAR is a paycheck. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, he couldn't live the life he does racing sprint cars all the time. He has to race NASCAR to be able to have.
If he has that 2020 year, maybe he could, but.
Yeah, I mean, he'd get plenty of sponsors and stuff too. I think just that lifestyle is being. For him to be a dad and a part of his family, NASCAR is probably the best way for him to do that, still being a racer.
I guess a good way of looking at it, let me ask you this question, Chris. Do you think if he didn't go to NASCAR, if he would be able to buy the All-Stars?
Oh, no.
I mean, I guess that would be like the one big thing you got to do. It's a business move, I feel like, on that. You know, you got offered thousands of dollars here again to millions of dollars. I mean, it's that was one of the things.
That was a topic I had seen going around on Twitter a bunch and on TikTok. Do you think he actually cares about NASCAR?
I mean, I think he does.
Obviously,
because I think that puts food on his table.
Yeah, he's competitive and still wants to win. It doesn't matter what racing he's in; he wants to win.
Correct.
But I think the money obviously plays, you know, a big thing into it. I mean, them guys make so much money, especially off the sponsors and endorsements. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he came back, and Hendrick Motor Cars will now just sponsor anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they sponsor about anything that he puts his ass in. That's for sure. Like anything that he's in, it's sponsored by them.
Yeah, you know, now they're doing that Xfinity deal with all 4 drivers. They're sponsoring Raja, who got his first win a couple weeks ago. And then today they're going to sponsor Boris Said Jr.'s TA2 car. So, yeah, he came back. I mean, he's helping the world of racing out all over by, you know, winning that championship and just dominating when he does. But
that Boris Said just threw me off. Am I thinking of his dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was like one of the guys in the NASCAR game. He's like all the way at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a road course ringer. You know, so back when there wasn't 8 on the schedule.
We talked NASCAR. Now, I'm sure Chris watched a good portion of it, but
all 12 hours.
All 12 hours. Do you know what? It was really stupid. I watched up until like the last hour, and then I didn't watch the rest. I don't know why I was committed for 11 hours and then didn't watch the last hour. But the craziest moment I thought was Pippo Durrani's flip, which was absolutely that was frightening.
It's funny. While that was happening, I was building this.
Oh God!
It's the
Build another one.
Lego.
Yeah, that's a Porsche.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Cadillac?
No, it's a Porsche.
Dan, how much did you
Pippo
watch?
it was in the
I didn't watch much of it, no.
I watched 0. I didn't even.
It was a Cadillac. It was a Cadillac.
Oh, was it? I thought it was a Porsche.
Yeah. It was the 01 Cadillac. No, the 31 Cadillac. The one that was like leading
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
portion of the race.
flipping in the lead, clips a GT car and just goes
Wasn't it a
sailing into
Ferrari?
the tire.
I think it was a Ferrari. Yeah.
How did our NASCAR picks do last week?
Well, you didn't have any picks because you were playing mechanic, fixing your car,
Oh yeah,
and weren't on.
that was my week before.
I don't know who the hell did we pick. I can't even remember.
Because since Zane knows NASCAR, we should pick another one.
Oh,
It's Coda this weekend.
I started
Ooh.
doing it at the local moose, but being over here all the time, I don't even know. I think I won like $40 the one night, and I haven't even gone and picked it up. It's still in an envelope. So
Coda.
My boss won $1,200 on the 500.
that's a good
Wow.
deal.
Wait, I think I picked Josh Berry and you picked Busher. I think that's who
Probably.
we picked. I don't
I don't
how
know.
you
You're the
that.
one in charge of writing things down.
Don't put me in charge of anything. It's a bad idea.
I'm gonna go out on a limb this week because I think he needs to fucking win. But I'm gonna pick Chase Elliott.
Yeah, super personality man.
Where are we going to this weekend? Where's
Coda.
Coda.
Road course.
Is Shane racing this week?
I know he's in Xfinity. I don't know if he's in. If he's
Who's the ringers? Chris, you normally know this.
Kobayashi's doing it again.
He
I mean,
didn't
you got
have
your
the best of look at Indianapolis.
you got your normal ringers. You got, I mean, Bell is good on road courses. I'm sure the Dingers in the Colic car. Like I said, the Indy winner, McDowell, he's good at road courses. I don't know. I'm trying to pull up the entry list, but you know, the NASCAR app's about as useless as they come.
The IndyCar app.
Yeah. I forgot to set my fantasy last week because I tried twice and it didn't work. Kobayashi. I mean, the Trackhouse cars have done really well at road courses. That's Suarez
I'll
and
go with Chastain then.
Crash Stain. Tyler Reddick's
We'll
pretty
go
good
with,
on road courses.
We'll go with Byron.
I'm gonna have to go with Bowman. Bowman's been doing pretty good.
Bowman's my guy.
So we got 3 Hendrick drivers.
Either him or Blaney. Blaney, I feel like is pretty decent, but he always gets in trouble at some point.
What are the
Bowman
Almost
just has
like Kyle
terrible
Busch.
luck on starts.
Didn't Kyle Busch run over or he ran into a crew member? This past weekend? It's almost that happened in Sebring as well. IMSA.
Yeah.
Somebody got clipped.
It's a dangerous job out there. Why they're all athletes. You or I get hit by a car, we're down for the count. These guys, it's like, I'm
a 30-year-old boomer. I'd be done. So we have Thermal Club for IndyCar, the $1 million challenge, the race that doesn't count for anything at all, and is just a fun time for rich people.
I was going to say, at a country club racetrack where general admission tickets were like $2,000 a piece.
Isn't this one just on Peacock too?
Sounds terrible.
So. They're trying to build one in Delaware. They were trying to build one in Delaware, Ohio.
I thought he said F1 for a minute. Then he said IndyCar, so I was confused. That's crazy. I never knew they.
It's their first time. They just used it for preseason testing last year. And then they're like, hey, let's do an exhibition race because that's what IndyCar needs.
Let's
That's
do
what we
an
need to focus
all-star
on.
race. Let's do an all-star race as the second race of the season. Because that
They
makes
should
a
open
lot
it
of
up, let you rent a car, make it a real exhibition.
Just go to the
Just do a
go-kart
damn
track.
go.
Go to like K1, whatever.
Yeah, we all need to. We want to do a big party one with everybody that's been on the podcast and stuff sometime.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, go over there to high voltage.
Yeah, we'll have to find something in the middle for everybody.
Have
Maybe
some
a take
beers
it.
and race. I mean, have some beers after we race.
I feel like for most of the people that you guys have on here, it would be have some beers and race on the side.
No, after we start racing, it'll get pretty hectic, I think.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would probably be drinking beers on the way to go race.
Hey, poor Leighton. He can't.
Dan's like, yeah, that's me.
Well, we'll work something out with Layton.
Don't incriminate yourself, Dan.
Oh, I'll talk to his dad.
Oh, okay. His dad can give it to him. That's legal.
Yeah, his dad could. Yeah.
You
Daddy will
can.
come with us. No, never.
Hey, there is one question we missed in the chat. Zane, do you have any superstitions on a race day or race at a track?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Is it embarrassing, or are you okay sharing it,
No, it's not embarrassing.
or is it both?
No. So, when I'm getting in the car, I got to do the same routine every time. It's not. I mean, it's. I feel like it's more of a. I mean, it's a superstition, but I try to make sure how I do everything when I get in the car. That way I know my Hans is hooked up, and everything's done right. Like I can't have anyone like give me my gloves or my helmet. Like I've got to be able to do it myself. That's about the only thing. But usually when I get nervous, I bite my nails really bad. So, but this year I'm going to try and quit. Brett told me I had to quit. So
they make a nail polish for that.
Oh man,
clear and
it doesn't matter. I would chew through it, man. I when we went to Pittsburgh, I had like my fingernails were bleeding and everything. I was chewing them off. But I started a new deal this year. I've got those the barrel deals from like Rule King and everything. I've got some lemon drops. I've got some of those hard candies. So I went through 2 bags at Pittsburgh. So gonna try and do something else. But I guess that could be a little bit of a superstition. I gotta have a couple of them this year before I get in the car.
Well, that's not too bad. It's not like you're like super
How
crazy.
Can you go
about
into
it?
a race all sour like that?
It's not like, well, all I drink is water, and I sit there and pound waters down all day. That was probably me and Hunter's most expensive weekly grocery was water. We'd go through a 32 pack of water a day at least. We would
now 1 pound bag of lemon heads.
Yeah, well, I just started that this year, so now I'm sure all my money will be there.
Kyle knows I'm a big water person at the track. Just a night at Wayne County, I'll bring like 4 to 6 liters of water with me, like the big, tall, smart bottles.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have 2 or 3
monsters.
of those. And a monster or 2. And
I couldn't do that.
I like the World of Outlaw events because you can get some free NOS. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I think I had a energy drink the one day here, and Hunter and Brett were, I think, ready to freaking hog tie me. I was like running around the shop, and they were not impressed. Yeah.
So I think that we are a little past an hour. Do you guys have anything else?
I don't.
Dan?
There's a little
Ready?
Felix licking my legs because he knows it's dinner time.
Just ready for the season in general, and obviously, excited to see how Zane's year works out, and kind of how see how his first couple races start here with the new team and everything, and just like everyone else, we'd love to get you back on in a couple month or two here to see how everything's been working, chemistry, and how just how racing's been going, and give everyone another follow up. So it's been cool having you on. Always a good time to talk to. So we all appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you guys having me on. I think this is pretty cool. Any podcast really. I think like we were talking before the show, it really helps the drivers out, kind of expose some sponsors and gets to know the drivers more on a personal level. And I was a little iffy on the whole video part, but I think it's pretty cool. It gets some of the more local guys that don't get the limelight a lot. People, fans, and everything can put a face with the name. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and for sure we'll have to get together, Dan, and me, you, and Max, and play some golf. I know Brett will play some golf, so we'll have to talk him into doing it too.
That's good.
We'll have Chris go, but he'll be like one of the only people to ever wear a racing shirt to a golf course.
I'll have you know.
No, we do it too.
I thought I thought that was gonna go way other way.
Yeah.
I think you were gonna be like the only guy in a skirt or something.
I'll have you know, I had to go to a golf outing for work one time and had to go out and buy a polo for it.
So he has one polo, guys.
So we need racing polos. Got it.
I'll make sure I get
I already have one.
I'll get on the page of getting Brett to get me a Wayne Racing polo.
I have a Unitronics team issued one from their IMSA car.
Okay, good deal.
You need a sprint car one. Well, Zane will get
I'm
you
sure-
a Wayne Racing one.
I was gonna say, I'm sure Sheldon has one on his store. He's got everything else.
Oh, you could just wear his flannels. That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Got a collar.
So Zane, thanks again for coming on. If you want to be, I say this every time and it sounds weird. If you want to be where Zane's at, on screen, not in person, because that would be weird. You'd be in his garage or the race shop. That would be a little awkward. If you want to be on the show, if you're a driver, team owner, track owner, promoter, and you want to be on the show, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, any one of our socials, or email us at contact@motorsportsohio.com. And if you need, I know the season's gearing up, and Chris and I, our cameras are they're really sad. They haven't got to take a lot of pictures in a couple months. So if you need a photographer and you want to hire anybody for your event or track day or anything, say you're going to be racing a big race and you want to get some awesome shots to be able to give to your sponsors, hit us up. We're definitely looking to take on some photography clients this year and build our photo business. So if you're interested in that, also contact@motorsportsohio.com, and we'll be glad to set you up with a competitive package and get that taken care of for you. You guys have anything else to shout out?
Nope. Just again, I
good.
appreciate having me on.
All right, everybody. We will see you same place, same time next week here on the FTI podcast.
Later.
There you go.